Nobody. And I mean nobody was ready for what went down at Katie Lewis's funeral. 1 minute you're watching reruns of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta thinking it's all spicy drama and scripted chaos. The next minute young Jock is on the front row full on snot, crying, shaking, and mumbling words no one could even understand. Wait, Jock, the same dude who laughed through cheating scandals, the man who called himself Mr. Swag while juggling baby mamas like mixed apes? Yeah, that one. He broke down hard in public at a funeral for a woman he once embarrassed on national television. So what happened? Why did Jock's tough guy facade crumble like a stale biscuit in gravy? What really went on between him and Katie behind the scenes? And why are people saying his tears weren't just guilt, but exposure? Because trust us, the moment those tears hit the church floor, the internet erupted. Was it grief, regret, or something deeper? Or maybe the funeral wasn't just about saying goodbye, it was a final reckoning. Oh, buckle up, we're just getting started. So let's get one thing straight. Love and hip-hop has given us scandals, breakups, flying drinks, wigs snatched mid-sentence. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared fans for what happened the day Katie Lewis was laid to rest. And in the front row, barely keeping it together, young Jock. Yeah, that young Jock, the one who once juggled for baby mamas and still managed to show up to the club in a velvet do-rag like life was smooth sailing. But at this funeral, life slapped him across the face. The man broke down so hard church staff were looking for a mop, not for the floor, but to clean up the emotional mess this man left behind. And if you're wondering why Jock, who treated Katie like a side quest while playing the main storyline with multiple women, suddenly turned into a Shakespearean tragedy figure, well, grab your popcorn if you think Katie Lewis was just a side character in Jock's drama-filled arc. You've clearly never watched her in action. Katie wasn't just a reality star, she was a full-blown fireball in heels when she walked into Love and Hip Hop. She didn't just bring drama, she became the drama. She stood 10 toes down, ran her businesses, and clapped back harder than a preacher at Sunday service. So when news hit that she had passed at the age of 44, suddenly, silently, and without warning, fans went into full meltdown mode. But nothing, not the headlines, not the tributes, not even her old savage clips going viral again, came close to the moment young walked into that funeral, saw her casket, and crumpled like a dollar store folding chair. People thought Jock might say a few respectful words, maybe even post a black and white selfie with some RIP Queen caption, but nah, the man wailed. He didn't shed a tear, he shed a whole personality. Folks in the back were whispering, "Yo, who knew he had it in him?" And others, they weren't whispering, they were filming, because in 2025 nothing is sacred, not even pain. Social media exploded. Young Jock is crying for the woman he dogged out on national TV. Somebody check on him and remind him what he did to her back in season 4. And that's where the drama really begins, because behind every emotional breakdown is a backstory full of guilt, games, and gaslighting, and Jock, he was neck deep in it. Let's rewind the messy tape, shall we? Jock and Katie were the couple who made fans scream at their screens. 1 minute they were cuddling, next minute Katie was dragging Jock for cheating with his baby mama Cena. And the crazy part, Jock acted like it was no big deal, as if sleeping with your ex while dating a boss woman was just regular Jock behavior. But Katie, she fought for that man, she defended him when everyone said she was wasting her time. She believed he would grow up, man up, and finally love her, right? Spoiler alert, he didn't. He humiliated her on camera over and over again. But here's what people never saw: the scenes that didn't make the edit, the times she cried in her car, the moments she questioned her worth, the breakdowns off-screen, the pain they never aired. And now that she's gone, suddenly Jock has become the poster boy for regret. Now the tears are flowing. Now you remember the woman who always had your back. Convenient timing, Jock. Real convenient witnesses. And when we say witnesses, we mean cousins with iPhones and Instagram accounts, describe the scene as deeply emotional and almost too raw for reality. One guest told an anonymous blog, "I've never seen Jock like that. He wasn't just crying, he looked lost, like the moment he realized he'd never see her again broke him." According to sources, and by sources we mean people standing 5 pews away, Jock had to be helped back to his seat. He sat down, face in his hands, shaking his head as if trying to undo every mistake he ever made. People say funerals bring out the truth. In Jock's case, it brought out the truth and the tears, and that's where the whispers began, because here's where it gets spicy. Some say Jock wasn't just grieving Katie's death, he was mourning what he lost a long time ago, that despite the breakups, the scandals, and the disrespect. Katie was the one who really knew him, the only woman who saw through the TV persona, through the flashy jokes and flexes, and still tried to love the broken version of him. But the question that keeps coming up, why did he wait until her death to act like he cared? Was it guilt, regret, or a desperate PR move? Because don't forget, this is the same man who once went viral for cheating on Katie and laughing about it, the same guy who told her, "You knew what it was," when she confronted him on live TV. So fans aren't buying the tears at face value. Some say it's real, others they say it's karma playing DJ at Katie's final party. And while Jock wept into his sleeve, there were other conversations brewing about the pressures Katie faced before she died and how reality TV might have played a bigger role in her downfall than anyone expected. And that leads us directly into the next chapter of this messy saga, where Katie's final days, her social media red flags, and the industry's cold response come under the spotlight. Because what happened before the funeral might be even more disturbing than what happened at it. Katie Lewis's death didn't just leave fans in shock, it left them confused, searching for answers in the silence. While young Jock was breaking down in tears at the funeral, the rest of the world was quietly unraveling a different story, one far darker, far heavier, and one that didn't come with background music or commercial breaks. There was no reunion episode to explain what went wrong. There were no confessionals. There was just absence and suspicion. One by one, people close to Katie began breaking their silence. At first it was whispers, friends, castmates, hair stylists, makeup artists, saying she hadn't been herself. Her laugh had grown quieter, her energy was off, she wasn't showing up for events, her posts had become distant, fans brushed it off like everyone does. Social media is full of vague captions, but now every post from Katie in the past few weeks suddenly reads like a warning no one caught. She was tired, she was struggling, and most chilling of all, she had just started therapy days before she passed. That one detail stopped people in their tracks, because therapy means she was trying, she was reaching for help, she hadn't given up, she was just hanging on by a thread. And now she's gone. A close friend anonymously shared that Katie texted her the night before her death. The message was just 3 words: "Pray for me." The friend didn't think much of it. Who would celebrities post cryptic messages all the time? But the next morning that text would haunt her. Katie's house was quiet when first responders arrived. Too quiet, no chaos, no flashing lights, just the low wail of sirens and 1 or 2 desperate phone calls. There were no paparazzi crowding her front yard, no public scene. She had already passed by the time the news broke online. It was already too late, and from that moment on the questions only grew louder. What happened? Where was everyone? Why did no one intervene? Social media detectives went full throttle. Bloggers were scrambling. Reddit threads exploded. Some people said it was an accident, others whispered about mental health, but no one could confirm anything. There was no official cause of death, no statement from the family, nothing but silence. And when there's silence, the internet fills in the gaps. A former Love and Hip Hop crew member who chose to remain anonymous said something that sent chills down spines. If you weren't crying or fighting, you weren't useful. That was the rule, meaning if Katie wasn't falling apart on camera, she didn't have value for the storyline. So to stay on the show, she had to keep the drama going, even when it hurt her, especially when it hurt her. And she wasn't the only one, but Katie might be the one who paid the highest price. Leaked DMs started circulating, so post messages from Katie to producers asking for a break, begging for time off. One said, "I need to breathe, I don't think I'm okay." The response, cold, "Let's just get through this season." Fans couldn't believe it. What season? What could be more important than her life? It started to become clear that Katie wasn't just another reality TV name. She was a woman silently unraveling behind the scenes while everyone around her pretended not to notice, because that's how the industry works. You smile on set, break down in private, and they call it entertainment. And young Jock, where was he while all this was happening? He was there filming scenes, laughing on air, moving on, acting like Katie was just a chapter he'd already turned. But when she died, suddenly the guilt caught up, and the tears that poured from his eyes at the funeral, that wasn't just grief, that was a man being haunted by the choices he can't undo. A tweet went viral during the aftermath. It said, "Katie died trying to be strong. Jay cried trying to look sorry." It hit hard because it felt like truth. Katie's closest circle knew something was wrong. They just didn't know how wrong. One of her friends said she hadn't heard Katie's real laugh in weeks. Another said she sounded empty on the phone. One chilling message stood out: she sounded like she was already gone, even though she was still here. And perhaps the most disturbing moment came when someone revealed Katie had made a cryptic voice note the day before her death. It wasn't a goodbye, it wasn't even emotional, it was just quiet, too quiet. And maybe that's the scariest part, it wasn't a dramatic end, it was silent, invisible, the way most Mental health breakdowns are Katie didn't go out with a headline, she faded, she disappeared before anyone realized it was happening. The internet's reaction was overwhelming. Fans were furious. They blamed producers, the network, even castmates. They replayed old clips of Katie being mocked, dismissed, pushed to the edge, and they started asking the real questions. Why didn't anyone help? Why was her pain treated as contempt? The production statement was as sterile as expected. Thoughts, prayers, condolences packaged like a press release. One fan tweeted, "You gave her airtime, but not support. Now you give her a tribute. Keep it." Another comment read, "KD was more than ratings. She was a person. She needed help, not camera angles." The hashtag started trending. Hashtag justice for Katie, hashtag protect reality stars, hashtag mental health matters. For a moment, it wasn't just about her anymore. It was about all of them, the women who cry off camera, the men who fake smiles, the personalities shaped for drama and discarded when the show ends. Young Jock became the face of regret. Whether intentional or not, his breakdown went viral. Clips of him wiping his face, holding back sobs, walking out of the service. Every frame was replayed 1,000 times, and while some sympathized, others saw it differently. Now you care, now you cry. Where was all that when she needed you? A leaked message claimed Jock texted someone close to Katie after her passing. It said, "She deserved better from me, from all of us." That message hit hard because it wasn't performative. It felt like a man facing a truth he can't escape. But for Katie's fans, her family, and those who saw the signs, that message came too late. Her last Instagram story was a black screen with the words, "I'm tired." That's all. At the time, people thought it was poetic. Now it reads like a eulogy, one that no one realized they were reading in real time. And maybe that's what hurts the most, not just that she died, but that she died slowly, quietly, and unnoticed by the people who claimed to care. This wasn't just a celebrity loss. This was a warning, a wake-up call. And if the industry doesn't listen now, then KD won't be the last. So now here we are. The funerals over, the flowers have wilted, the hashtags have slowed down, but the questions, they've only multiplied. Katie Lewis may be gone, but the chaos she left behind, that's still very much alive. And the truth is, reality TV didn't just fail her, it chewed her up, spit her out, and then had the audacity to air a tribute special like it was closure. But this isn't closure, this is exposure. Let's be real, when Katie walked onto the set of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, she wasn't some timid, wide-eyed rookie. She was a boss. She was fiery, fearless, and loud enough to make sure no one ignored her. She didn't play roles. She played people who played her. She brought heat, heart, and hellfire to the screen, but behind the smoke and mirrors, something darker was building. The fans saw the memes, the savage clapbacks, the viral moments, but they missed the silent cries, the emotional labor Katie carried while producers kept shouting, "More drama, more tears." And that brings us to the most disgusting part of this whole mess. The industry saw this coming. They just didn't care. According to leaked reports from former production assistants, Katie had been asking for a wellness clause in her contract. She reportedly wanted time to step away during filming if she felt overwhelmed. Sounds fair, right? They denied it because apparently her breakdowns were better for ratings than her boundaries. One former staff member anonymously shared, "We were told to push buttons. If someone was spiraling, we were told to lean into it, not step back. If it got too real, they edited it out. Pain was content. The camera didn't stop for anyone. And now that Katie's dead, they want us to believe this was unforeseeable. Please, the only thing unpredictable was when it would happen, not if. It wasn't just the producers, the network executives, the handlers, the confessional interviewers. They all played a role. And now they're all playing dumb, putting out sad graphics, changing profile pictures, lighting virtual candles like that erases the blood on their hands. Even Jock, who by now has become the emotional punching bag of the story, is struggling to navigate this fallout. Some fans believe his breakdown was genuine. Others say it was delayed guilt, a man mourning not just the woman he lost, but the way he treated her when she was alive. But here's what's wild. Since Katie's death, Jock hasn't spoken publicly beyond a few private messages and one emotional video that was swiftly deleted. In the video, he looked broken, not performative, not dramatic, just lost. He said, "I thought I had more time. I thought we could talk again. I never got to say I'm sorry." That line echoed because for a man who built a whole persona around jokes and distractions, that moment, that was the first time fans saw the real him. Not Jock the rapper, not Jock the cast member, just a man standing in front of the truth, raw and shaking. But the public, oh, they weren't feeling forgiving. They dragged Jock, they dragged the show, they dragged the system that made this all feel like just another plot twist. And somewhere in the middle of all this noise, there's Katie's family. Her sister posted a single photo, no caption, just Katie's smiling, no hashtags, no quotes, just peace. And that silence that spoke louder than anything anyone else had to say. Because while the internet was dissecting her life, like an episode her family was grieving like real people, and the real people are the ones left with the pieces. Katie wasn't just a character. She was a mother, a daughter, a friend, a fighter, a flawed but fierce woman who tried to hold it all together while the world poked and prodded for content. And now she's gone. And what are we? Left with tribute videos, viral sound bites, the same old trauma machine revving up for another cast member. Fans are angry, and rightfully so, because this isn't just about Katie anymore. This is about every reality TV star who's been reduced to a meltdown, every cast member who's been pressured to be the villain, the emotional wreck, the unhinged one. And while the shows rake in millions, what do the stars get? A broken heart, a bad reputation, a funeral. The hashtags haven't stopped. If anything, they've evolved. Now it's hashtag protect our stars, hashtag reality needs reform, and hashtag no more Katie. Some cast members are starting to speak up quietly, carefully, because they know speaking out can cost them, one anonymous source said. There were times we'd film scenes just hours after panic attacks. Nobody cared. You either performed or you got cut. That's the reality of reality TV. And now there's pressure, real pressure. Fans are demanding change. Mental health professionals are calling for on-set therapists. Activists are demanding contracts that protect emotional well-being. This isn't just about one woman anymore. It's about a whole genre that thrives off pain and drama, but offers no healing. And make no mistake, the industry hears the noise. Executives are holding quiet meetings. Crisis PR firms are being consulted. Scripts are being rewritten to add more heart. But the question remains, is it real change or just damage control? Because if they think this will blow over, they're wrong. Katie Lewis was more than a trending topic. She was the final straw, the wake-up call, the unfiltered truth. And the fans are wide awake. Now we saw her hurt, we saw her try, we saw her fade, and we will not let her be forgotten. Her story won't be buried beneath another season of chaos. Her name will not be reduced to a moment. Her life mattered, her pain mattered. And now the industry has two choices: evolve or implode, because if nothing changes, then another Katie is already breaking right now. Behind the cameras, behind the edits, behind the smile, they're told to keep on. And when that story ends, there won't be a script to fix it. This time we demand better. This time we remember her name, Katie Lewis, the one who brought fire, the one who carried too much, the one who's gone too soon. Let it hurt, let it change something, or let it haunt you, because if we let this go, then we are all part of the problem. And next time the funeral might be someone else we thought was just fine. Until then, remember her and do better. So now I'm asking you watching this right now, what are we really doing? Are we just going to keep scrolling past people's pain, calling it just TV? Are we going to keep celebrating breakdowns like they're award-winning performances? Or are we finally going to admit it, that what happened to Katie Lewis wasn't a twist, it was a tragedy? You laughed when she clapped back, you posted her savage moments, you watched her fight like hell just to be heard, but when she went quiet, nobody listened. Reality TV is not just entertainment anymore. It's becoming a machine that eats people alive and buries them in silence. And Katie, she's the proof. So ask yourself, what are you going to do? Drop a comment, share your thoughts, start the conversation, because silence, that's what killed her, and silence is not an option anymore. Do you think the show should have done more? Do you think her friends failed her? Do you think the industry should finally protect its stars instead of pushing them off the edge? Tell us below. And if you care, really care, hit that like button, subscribe, stay with us. Because we're not just telling stories here, we're exposing the truth. They try to hide behind the glitz and drama. Justice for Katie isn't just a hashtag, it's a movement. And this time we won't let her story fade away. Stay woke, stay loud, and remember her name, Katie Lewis, gone too soon, but never ignored again.